Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again to another live stream this week. Um, I'm just going to present myself very quickly. My name is Gabriel. I am a student at the University of Ottawa. I am in my fourth year in computer science, and I currently work with engineering outreach. My job is to prepare and present workshops, STEM related workshops, to students between kindergarten and grade 12, also in schools from Ontario to Quebec, and also do live streams or online workshops. So for today, we have a very fun AI and machine learning workshop. Before we get started, what is AI? AI is obviously artificial intelligence. It's all around us right now. When we talk about it, we talk about ChatGPT, we talk about all these AI tools that we use, whether it's for writing, for designing, for all these stuff. Um, Now, the way these AI tools work is with programming and using technology, but also mainly through what we call machine learning. Now, machine learning is a concept where we as humans present so much data to the tool that the tool starts getting used to that data, and then once we give it some unknown data, it will be able to relate it to previous data that it has, which is, for example, how ChatGPT works. When we give ChatGPT, when we ask ChatGPT so many questions, ChatGPT will then eventually, get to know more about what's happening and how things work. And since it's a research tool, also it helps. But the idea is when it has so much information, and then as a user, you come and you ask it a question, it knows what to look for. It looks for something that you can relate to, that your question can relate to, and then it will give you the answer based on that. The more we ask ChatGPT questions, the more information ChatGPT will have, and the more data ChatGPT will have, and the more accurate ChatGPT will be. Obviously, if we take it back a few years when ChatGPT first came out, if you had to ask ChatGPT a mathematical question, there could have been an instance where ChatGPT would have done something wrong or did not account for a few things. But now, um, because of how much data and how much information it has, when you give it the same math problem, it already knows what to do and it will do it and it will do it correctly. So this is what machine learning is. So we start up a program, an artificial intelligence program. We give it information, we train the model that way. And then once we give it something new, we see how it relates to it. And obviously, the more data that we give it, the more smart it will be, right? Because it has more stuff that it can relate to, it has more examples. It's the same thing when you, for example, are studying for an exam. If you do, for example, one practice question and you go to the exam and you get this something similar to it, there's a chance that you might find it complicated as opposed to, for example, doing 10 examples or 20 examples of that same question and then going to the exam and getting something similar, right? The more you practice, the higher the higher probability of you finding the exam easier and doing the question faster and doing it more correct. So it's kind of the same thing. So what we have today is a very fun tool. Um, we're gonna use it for image recognition, but you can use it for sounds, videos, multiple stuff. Um, what we're gonna do, we're gonna use Teachable Machine. It's a Google, it's a Google tool. It's a tool made by Google, and this is basically where what we're gonna be doing is training an AI model to recognize the difference between two dogs in our example. Obviously, you can do multiple stuff. This is just an example of how something like this would work. I'm just gonna share my screen. There we go. So this is Teachable Machine right here, and Teachable Machine is very easy to use. So now I have already downloaded and saved the photos that I will be using, but you can very easily just go on Google and download a few of these pictures. And I'll show you guys how this is supposed to work. So let's go back. So if we click on get started, and obviously here you have the choice. Do you want an image project? Do you want an audio project? Do you want a post project? So this is obviously this is based on images. This is based on sounds, and this is based on also images. And you'll see what will happen at the end, but how this makes sense. So basically, if I were to click, and then we'll just use the standard model. Here we have, skip the tutorial. Here we have two classes in our case. Obviously, you can add as many classes as you want. And something to keep in mind, the more examples you add, the more samples you give the tool, the more accurate it will be, right? So here I'm going to be looking at two dogs. I'm going to be doing a labradoodle, if I'm not mistaken. That's how you're supposed to spell it. And then here we're going to do a golden retriever. Now, since I have the pictures already, this will be very easy for me. I'll just have to click on upload and then choose from your files. And now you won't see this, but actually I'm gonna try to show it. These are basically my files that I will be picking from, that I already have them downloaded. And so, as you can see, these are my image samples right here, my three labradoodles. And then also I will upload whatever is left from the other images. And these are my golden retriever images right there. Now, again, think about it as an exam. Basically, what this is saying is that I did three sample questions, three examples from a certain topic, and another three examples from a certain topic. Now, the computer will be able to recognize those because they're very different, right? But the idea is still the same. The more examples that we give it, the more accurate it will be. Since it's a small application, it won't really need to be so accurate, right? Well, it is going to be very accurate without us having to give it so much data. But in a more complex application, in an application where we need to actually use, for example, machine learning to detect eye movement, for example, to control a robot or something like that, obviously giving more examples would be better, right? So let's say I were to let's say I were to just have everything here. I have two classes. I have a Labradoodle class and a Golden Retriever class. And let's say I were to click on train model. And now it's basically training my model based on the data that I have. It's giving it the pictures. It's making sure that it knows what it's doing. And there we go. And now you guys can't see this, but actually, I'm going to try showing it to you. Yeah. Basically, my Google gave me a notification asking me if I want to grant this website access to my camera. And what will happen is it will use my camera to kind of determine if the picture that I will show it on my phone is that of a Labradoodle or that of a Golden Retriever. Obviously, this is a Labradoodle. Kind of looks like a Golden Retriever, not gonna lie. Let's see if it's gonna detect it or not. And this is the picture of a Golden Retriever. So we have this and we have this. So I'm gonna allow the site access to my webcam. So, I think I will probably need to disable my camera here so that I can use it on the website. That's the issue that I'm getting, that I can't use my camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. So if I were, okay, so apparently I look like a golden retriever. Nice. Anyways, if I showed this, it's almost close to 100%. It's guessing it's a golden retriever. And now if I showed this, let's see if it's gonna work. It kind of juggles around between the two of them. Because this looks like something in the middle, right? But let's see if I can find a picture that's a bit better. Wow, do I really look like a golden retriever? Okay, anyways, let's find one. Labradoodle. So if I find a picture of a Labradoodle, let's find one that I haven't used. Let's see this one. Will it work? There we go. So it chooses the Labradoodle as well. Let's try another one. There we go. And the reason why it's really juggling between the both of them it's uh it's a how do we say this? It's because it's like not too sure because it doesn't have too much samples. So if you give it more samples, you won't see that juggling. You would just see it go straight to where the answer is. Now, let's do something. Let's actually try to add another class and then add another animal or a dog or dog breed or whatever. I'm just gonna make my camera visible again and then turn off my camera here. There we go, we're back. Okay, so let's go here and let's say I want to choose a lion, for example. So a lion, and I'm gonna choose JPEG image just to make it easier on the download. So save image, and then we'll do three images. Save image as well, and then we'll do save image for this one. There you go. And then I'll go here, go down, class, and for our third class we'll call it lion, upload, choose files, and then we'll just upload the forgot to download the last one. Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, this one. Oh, this is an AVIF file. No, no, no. So for a JPEG, save image as. There you go, JPEG. Downloads, save. Okay, let's get rid of those. Mistakenly downloaded everything. Okay, three images of a lion. Training the model now. And then I will disable my camera here. There we go. And now it's indecisive. It doesn't know which one I am. Let's try again. Okay, so Labradoodle. It's certain that it's a Labradoodle. Now let's try Golden Retriever. Certain that it's a Golden Retriever. And let's try Lion. Be able to know from this image. It's kind of juggling. It's choosing Golden Retriever. Obviously because it needs more samples. But if I choose this image, for example, it's gonna choose Lion. But from this one, it's more the body that it's a bit unsure of. Here it can see the face more. So it's obviously wanting to choose lion more. But if you realize, I barely have any pictures of the body of the lion, I only have of the face. So the only thing that it can distinguish from is the face. And yeah, that is pretty much it for how this tool works. There isn't much to talk about. Again, um, machine learning in general on the samples that you give it. Obviously, again, give it more samples, you'll see less uncertainty, right? It will be more certain. It will know more what it wants. It will choose more confidently, to say the least. And this is how this tool works. This is a very simple take on machine learning. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So machine learning again is a way to teach a machine. So again, the more samples that we give it, the more accurate it will be. So we feed it with samples, we feed it with data, and then once we give it something new to test it, it will go back to that data and try to relate it closely to the data that it already has. Now, the reason why it said that I look more like a golden retriever rather than a human being is obviously because it doesn't have a picture of a human being. It has a picture of dogs and animals. So it's gonna try to relate me is to whatever it has in data. So that is basically how this works. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you at 1 p.m. for the French.